in YouTube when you start streaming, right? It's not
It should,
like
yeah. I didn't make something in advance this time because I wanted to see if it would go straight up. I want to see how automated I can make it. All right, it looks like
okay, it's showing there already.
nice.
Cool.
And you want to drop that link in Discord?
Sure.
Just weekly update, buddy. So hey everybody, yeah, you spent a few moments watching us get set up. I'm still just making sure that the stream is working here. I'm also streaming this to the workshop, maybe Twitter and YouTube for one last time today, and I'll tell you about why in just a minute. But hi, and welcome to the Gimbalabs weekly update. Kyle and Julie are doing what they're supposed to be doing right now with their sweet families, and Roberto and I are holding it down. Happy Good Friday, everybody. Hope you had a good week. And if you're just watching this later because you're relaxing, we salute you. All right. So our agenda is the same as usual, but we're going to have some fun with it today, do some storytelling. We'll give some shout outs, talk about what we've done, our next steps, your next steps, and then Q&A if anybody happens to be here. So this week's shout out. Roberto, do you want to take the first one? This was so fun.
Sure. We got to thank you, IOHK, and especially solutions team, enterprise solutions team, led by Carlos Vargas, all his team, Guillermo, Gonzalo, Alan. They came to Gimbalabs, and we had a brief introduction to some of their solutions. We discussed architectural designs. We had some people joining us and asking some interesting questions. The video the session was recorded, so you can go to our Discord channel and find the link. And it was like, yeah, a nice experience to share this research we are doing with the event ticketing system and validating some ideas we've been thinking of to build this. It was amazing. Thank you IHK for making this possible, and especially Carlos for inviting us to have this session.
Yeah, we know how priceless everybody's time is right now. So building that bridge a little bit, and just I've been thinking since then about just the different roles we all have to play. This is the vision for this decentralized world, right? Like IO has to deliver on really big, important outcomes, right? And that makes space for people like us to go deep into the research and development. Obviously, IOHK is world-class research. We shouldn't be talking about that, I guess. But yeah, there's so much variety of work for all of us to do. So it felt really cool to kind of see that bridge. And hopefully we can continue with everybody we know, just having these opportunities for people to engage in the variety of work and find the things they really want to be spending time on. The next bullet point, this is a fun one. I'll let you take this one too.
Shout out to Kyle for his successful proposal from Fund 3, Cardano Sharp. For whoever doesn't know it yet, it's suite of it's a library, but it will be a suite of libraries inside this one for handling Cardano wallets, DPC connections, and all that stuff. It was his independent proposal before he joined at Gimbalabs. He made I don't know how to say. I'm his referrer for this proposal. We've pioneered that also. We are trying the referral program for Catalyst also. We want to experience every part of Catalyst ourselves, and this one was yet another one. Yeah, and also to all our Fund 3 winners. We got some good friends that got funded like ABCD. Shout out to Josh. Yeah, they don't come to my mind right now, but yeah, shout out to all the winners.
Oh, it's an amazing list, and it's just going to keep growing, right? It's really starting to feel like, okay, this is just going to keep happening every round, and the motivation and energy, and love and respect. I also, to our friends who came close. It's this feeling of like heartbreak that we're also going to feel every 6 weeks. I guess we just have to get used to it and then figure out how to keep going. And talking to Josh about this earlier this morning, you know, I know that, and you're here sitting, and hey, Steve, what's up? Right? Josh can better describe than any of us can the journey of saying, okay, how do I scale back my proposal to get it to get the first version of this working, and then to grow from there. We want to talk to all of you who we've been having these conversations with and figure out what to do next. And we want to support you even more over the next 6 weeks and think about what's next for you. And so please be in touch about that. And we'll be in touch too. We'll be reaching out to you. So speaking of Catalyst, we wanted to do a couple minutes on this question today. And Roberto and I figured, because it's just the two of us, we can just take a moment to tell the origin story of Gimbalabs, because I got a question the other day on YouTube saying, hey, wait a minute, what is Gimbalabs? What is Workshop Made? What the heck is going on here? And that question is 100% appropriate, I'll say. The most important thing to understand about Gimbalabs is that it started as these two separate Catalyst proposals. I know a lot of you have heard it in town hall, that this idea of combining proposals. I know that it's a hard thing to do. It's hard to say like, hey, my idea is incomplete without somebody else. And I just want to say as loud and clear as possible, I can't imagine in retrospect having done it any other way. I mean, Roberto and I met during Fund 2 of Project Catalyst, and we explored the idea of, hey, like, do these ideas complement each other? And we're still figuring out how they do, right? This is ongoing work to figure out the overlap. But I'll let you jump in there and maybe just say a word or two about your Catalyst 2 proposal, and then I'll talk about mine.
Sure. So I had this idea of Dandelion on mind for helping people adopting Cardano. But yeah, I have no pretension. I had no intention on building my own startup or anything. I just proposed Dandelion to be a community service that might be incorporated in the Cardano Foundation developer portal. All I wanted was that this service really existed. So I never considered this an idea that I should protect, because from my way of thinking, ideas are nothing if you don't get to build them. I couldn't do that alone. I mean, I'm a single administrator for Dandelion right now, but Dandelion idea is nothing if it doesn't get adopted from more people, from more SPOs that want to run APIs for others to build projects on top of Cardano, right? Like they run their pool, they could run gateways that people could trust to build their projects because they closely know the SPO and trust him to provide that service. So yeah, I proposed that. Then James had his own educational idea on mine, and this sounded like the perfect tool for him to play and tinker with Cardano. So we tried to combine the ideas, merge them in the end. Do you want to go on from there?
I mean, I just feel so lucky right now, because this is the thing, right? Is within that fast moving space of a Catalyst funding round, I had a hunch that we could try working together, but I'm still realizing the power of your idea now, right? And that's the other thing, is by starting this collaboration, I've been able to go deeper into your reasoning behind Dandelion. And every day I'm like, oh my gosh, Roberto's brain was here 6 months ago, and I'm finally catching up, you know? And this is the power of collaboration, right? You can't, it's so hard in this revolutionary moment we're living in to really understand the depth of the ideas that people are bringing to the table. And so this time frame that we're on, I'm just so grateful for it. And yeah, my original proposal was about mainstream adoption through education. And you said the magic words right there, Roberto, when you were talking about it, is like giving a proposal just because you want something to exist. If somebody else had proposed my proposal, I would have been like, yo, can I come work on that with you? You know, but somebody has to put an initial proposal out there, and that's only step one, and then the work starts. So I had this idea of just saying, right, like let's try to gather what's out there so far as entry points. Started making starter kits, which were opportunities to show what's out there. And we're going to continue to use starter kits as a way to engage with tools initially. But really all a starter kit should do moving forward is give you kind of the basic idea for what a tool is all about, and then give you the documentation you need to follow your own learning pathway, right? And once you get on that pathway, where you're going to end up is, for example, using Dandelion APIs, or this third question here, right? Watching Coding on Chain. And Coding on Chain has been awesome because that was Kyle's initial idea, right? Who we were talking about him just a minute ago, winning the Fund 3 proposal. But the most beautiful thing about this, Roberto, you've hosted the last 2 episodes of Coding on Chain, right? And so this shared ownership of ideas and different people executing on it, that's what we're here for. And I recognize the inefficiency of this approach has been a little bit of like confusion as collateral damage, right? So I apologize for not being more clear right away, like, hey, here's what Workshop Maybe is. And I have that little thing, and it's part of it's part of Gimbalabs now. But back a few months ago, the way we would talk about it is with Dandelion and Workshop Maybe as the original Gimbalabs. But there may be more. Coding on Chain is now the 3rd Gimbalab. Maybe you watching this right now, you have another one in your mind, right? So we want to continue providing just the right amount of space so that people can maximize support and autonomy to do what they want to do, but get the help they need to accomplish it. So that's where we're going. I really hope that resonates. I know it does with us. And so if it's the same for you, yeah, exactly. We're building Voltrons. Good. That's a good reference. Is that a fair reference for the kids out there watching? I think I said Voltron to the Adopt crew the other day, and Ryan looked at me. He goes, "I don't know what that is." Okay. So with that in mind, we want to talk a little bit about what we've done this week. And so in a collaboration, we got Gimbal Pool up and running, and we're really excited to have a pool associated with Steve's too old for Voltron. Ryan's too young. Yeah, that show wasn't on for very long. It was on for a few years. So we've got we have a pool now, and the purpose of this pool is to kind of support the Gimbalabs ecosystem that we're growing up. And so I'll take this one because I learned how to use what Roberto built, customize Cardano. Those words slipped out as soon as I said them, Steve. I was like, that's not what I should have said. But we can have a word later. So yeah, Roberto deployed Peacepool, Repsistance, and used Kubernetes clusters to do this. What we did is we looked at a map of where nodes, Cardano nodes, Cardano stake pools were across the globe. And we saw that they were maybe underrepresented in Poland and that there was not yet one running at Scaleway's data center in Warsaw. So we said, all right, let's use the Scaleway Warsaw Center to spin up an instance of Kubernetes, or should I say cluster, and to try out this customized Cardano node that Roberto built. And so we've done a small part in just adding a node somewhere that one didn't exist. And this gave me a chance to wrap my head around Kubernetes, which has been a learning process. Roberto's been really patient with me on that journey. And we have it working. It's now up and running. And we're really excited to polish off the documentation for this, because we believe this is a really nice way for people to engage. And I think I'm 90% of the way to the point where I'm ready to support other people to do this. So if this is an attractive idea to you, let's talk and let's help you spin up your own Kubernetes-based node, okay? And then Roberto, obviously, I'll have to ask you for help with the other 10%. But we'll fill in that gap. So yeah, and if you want to take it away with the next one.
Yeah, and I before we move to the next one, I want to thank you and make a shout out that maybe we missed in the first slide to CN Tools builders, because the way customized Cardano node is designed is to work closely, to integrate what CN Tools produce. It used behind the scenes, it used the directory hierarchy of CN Tools. So basically you are running in the way CN Tools does, but on Kubernetes instead of on a traditional virtual machine or whatever. Yeah, all you use this customized Cardano node is to handle the cloud instances, but you can and must, if you want to do it easily, use CN Tools on your local offline node to create the keys and manage the keys, and then bring the pool certificates to the cloud in this customized Cardano node deployment. Yeah, just wanted to let people know that.
No, that's actually a really wise addition. +1 to the shout out to the CN Tools folks, everybody who's put their time into developing that. And we're excited to have more conversations with a lot of you guys. But the other thing, in addition to wrapping my mind around Kubernetes, to be honest, I had never really built transactions on an air-gapped machine before. And that was the CN Tools resources, both the software itself and the documentation, really helped me wrap my mind around that one too. Like, I watched Charles's security video and I was like, this is all great, but until you actually do something, it's hard to really fully get it. And so huge shout out to that team for making the process of moving back and forth between online and offline mode so clear. That stuff is awesome. Another great way for people to learn which part of the network runs online and what you can do locally. That was really cool.
Yep. So next point, it's about Dandelion. I am working on updating the templates to use latest DB-Sync version, GraphQL version, which needs a bit of tweaking. I will probably finish during the weekend. So I know Nick, I don't remember the last name, Nick from Ray Wallet, which is yet another live wallet that's being built thanks to this community service existence. He asked me for GraphQL latest version, and if I was planning to deploy it. So Nick, if you are watching this, yeah, it will be probably there at the end of the weekend. Do you want to take the next one?
Yeah, so we met with our graphic designers have an idea for another app, Dapplet, that we can build. So Julie and I had our first meeting with Tom and Alex, beginning to sketch out that next playground project. So more on that to come, but we're really excited to build a team of people who have maybe been hanging around, but we haven't had something specific to ask of you yet. Among other things, this project, we're going to take all of the inefficiencies from the first playground project and use and apply them to now a more streamlined experience and a clearer team for Playground 2. So more on that to come, but it was really cool to get that going.
Okay, next one is I hosted my second Coding on Change session. Kyle was finally able to join me with audio in this one because I changed my setup. Yeah, we deployed on Mac OS. It was a quick one because I had all the prerequisites, which are basically Docker and K3D Kubernetes tool. Yeah, in less than 20 minutes, we had a testnet and mainnet deploy local on my old poor old MacBook that almost burned, but managed to run both deployments and sync. Yep. Next one is Linux, and I will be doing the same. I hope I fix the read-only user for Postgres, which failed in both previous sessions. Yeah. That will be a special one. I will try some new things there.
Fun. Yeah, and I got to catch up. I didn't watch that session yet, but that's my weekend homework, is to look at that. Thanks for that. We've also been supporting the team, the new Fund 3 winner at ABCD, to get their website ready. Faye and Buki have been working really hard to become the first webmasters of ABCD. And I'm so proud of you two for bearing with me. They've been doing a lot with, minimal internet access. Sometimes it's hard to even get sound, but you've been showing up, you've been getting it done. And I hope that ABCD is a shining example of what we're actually trying to do for Cardano in Africa. And I hope that if anybody's curious about how badly we need to all, as a global community, come together and build better infrastructure in order to make our dreams come true for what we're all hoping happens, check out, we post those videos on YouTube just so all of us can keep tabs on what we've done. So Faye, Buki can rewatch another time just in case there's something they need to see again. But there's a lot of examples of why we need to work on this problem, whether it's mesh networks or Starlink or some combination of new and emerging tools, and all of this is going to need a budget. That's the prerequisite to getting this done. So we're really excited that we've been building that relationship, and I hope it's an example to everybody of how to pitch in, because we all love to talk about what's going to happen with Cardano in Africa. IOHK is doing as much as they can. There's a team working on it. Yep, Steve is working on it. So just we're proud to be part of that journey, and really, really excited to roll out the ABCD website next week. In the background, we've been focused on, actually, sorry, I forgot what I meant by that bullet point. No, we've been really narrowing our focus about how to spend our time. And what we recognize is that, the playground and Dandelion, we really want these to be front and center. Okay, so as we continue to define what Gimbalabs is and really hone in on that, okay, what you're going to see us talking more about are the playground and Dandelion, both right now, these ideas coming into play, but also the long-term vision, right? For example, we want this playground process to be something that really helps to onboard people into Cardano, whether they're developers or people with ideas. And the vision for Dandelion, Roberto said it a few minutes ago, but just to reiterate, the vision for Dandelion is not for him to be the sole operator of this, but for us to figure out, hey, how do we get people, just like there's SPOs all over the globe, how do we get people running a Dandelion instance across the globe in a way that makes it easier and more reliable, but also distributed, how we access the blockchain and use it in the first place. So really fired up. Do you want to talk more about that focus?
Not really. I mean, we have some great ideas. We will be maybe teasing some in Fund 5 for the metadata challenge, but don't want to tease. Don't want to tease right now.
Oh man, yeah, I'm so excited to keep learning how we bring that to life. And so with all that in mind, next steps, this has been a longer meeting. Look, fewer people on the call, but longer meeting than usual. Sorry about that. There's just so many big ideas and so much to think about. So we're continuing to clarify the scope of our playground projects and make roadmaps. I know you're right here, so you and I are going to meet soon to kind of sketch out playground number 1 and our initial MVP of how we're going to apply all the R&D that Roberto and Kyle and OCG and Will and Nick and others have been engaged in. A and I have a very clear pathway for what we want to do with these tools, so we're really excited to be headed there. Making the customized Cardano node documentation that we used to spin up Gimbal Pool accessible to more people. And then this ongoing R&D, this messy, sometimes inefficient work that's just the most fun kind of work for, first of all, but also that we really do, we're starting to see it create outcomes. And so that's really, that's helpful for building momentum and kind of allaying that self-doubt of being like, hey, is this going anywhere? What are we accomplishing here? So same idea, your next steps are big picture, really. If you are in the Gimbalabs Discord, throw your idea out there. Maybe it's the next one that we can run a playground sprint on, okay? Maybe your questions are the same as other people are thinking of, right? And so throw those questions out there. It's a great way to, to kind of take that leap into greater participation, because I guarantee you're going to find out that other people have the same question as you. Parlay that into joining us in our R&D, and we're going to share more now that Gimbal Pool is up and running about the Gimbal token and greater participation. That's all going to be rolling out over the next few weeks. So we invite you to pay attention for that. So thanks for hanging out for a whole half hour. Steve says, is there a link for a good description to Dandelion? Is the best one Dandelion link, or is it just on the website?
I would say, yeah, the website shows the essence, but doesn't really show the further plans. I mean, the spread of the seeds for the end goal.
So you can see the existing APIs here. We could use some community support. This is one of these participation opportunities that we'll talk about more soon. But the documentation is minimal so far, right? It's just what we were able to do to get started. But we're really excited to show you examples of where each of these are in use. I've already lost count of how many community projects have used Dandelion. Oops. Now I'm just clicking things. But yeah, that's the idea that's there. And also Dandelion link is still up and running. This is kind of the initial idea, right?
It's community service that needs community support. That means not only, of course, contribution to the Kubernetes templates, customized templates, or documentation. It means we really need a distributed network of Cardano gateways. That's up to people to run them. We will be running free forever as long as we can.
Don't trust, verify.
Right.
All right. Steve, thanks for engaging with us today. Anybody else got questions, whether you're on Twitter or YouTube?
By the way, something that came to my mind is this week, Sergio from Swampool, who is building something that he will tell us soon. He asked for terms of service of dandelion.link, and I need to apologize because there is none in the website, but the answer to that question is if you are building something valuable for the community, we are glad to support the project as long as it doesn't take down the deploy because it puts heavy pressure or load into the instances. Just because that's what we want. We want tools. We are the single instance right now, but we hope there will be more and we can spread the load between all the dandelions. But yeah, just wanted to say it publicly that we are glad to support any project that really that non-commercial project, because for that would probably imply having a huge deployment with high resources, and that's not the idea for Gimbalabs Dandelion deploy. But yep, come and build, and we are glad to take some load.
Yes. Maximize that learning. Yep. And then once if people start taxing Dandelion too much, then we'll teach them how to build their own, right? And then they can run that for all they need it to do. All right. Ooh, fun question.
Yep. That's something that has been on my mind, not only for Dandelion, but for every decentralized project. How we handle immoral use cases that use these decentralized and permissionless technologies. That's why I bought Blacklist TLD, top level domain. That's part of my personal aiming to build some like blacklisting services for having a reputation-based blacklist for IPFS object that store content that shouldn't be there. Just in the same way that we have mail blacklist, you subscribe to drop emails from some IPs or domains. I think we really need these services for every decentralized technology, blacklist or gray list or white list for
Oh man, I mean this is the conversation, right? This is like the conversation of the next decade, is dancing on this delicate line and finding a balance, right?
Right.
Yeah. Hey, that's one that could take us an old-fashioned 3-hour, 15-minute conversation to get through. And Steve, is this just make the amoral use cases pay, or make everybody?
What will be cool is to have some mechanism that allows dandelion operators to get their part for the projects they support in a decentralized manner.
I like that idea. Let's see what you come up with. Very good. Yeah, a high tax. Yeah, exactly. The high use. That's exactly right. And I think we've already talked about this, that at a certain level, it's just the right thing because it costs more money out of the Gimbalabs treasury to run the server with higher power, right? So of course we don't making a profit doesn't have to be the goal, but it shouldn't be a loss either, right? So we'll definitely have ideas for how to make that work as there's more
sustainability.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so you can see that Julie keeps us in line and helps keep these meetings to 20 minutes, but this was fun. A tax for the taxers. Yeah. Roberto, that was fun. Thanks for doing this today.
Thank you, everybody.
And we'll see you all soon.